Thank you so much for sharing your afternoon with me. Yes, indeed. It's like technical fun. So much technical fun. It is 12:15, and I always start at 12 noon. I know. Today, God had a different plan, but we made it. We made it. Yes, thank you so much for your patience. Gave somebody a chance to be on time, right? They're like, I'm gonna, and then when I realized, I said, you know what? You can just change the time. How about that? Mental health. Mental health, you have to have a commitment to it. We're talking about health being our best investment. Health is our best investment. And I need you to have to give me feedback on if you agree. Like, what would be a better investment to make than to invest in your health? No, I think that we really need to think about that as we continue to always, have extreme interest in, what should I buy next? 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 What JB? What should I get next? Right? And sometimes that what you should get next is something actually for your health. No, because sometimes even if you spend money and you think, oh, I need a getaway, what do you do for your health during that time of your getaway? No, and be sure to chat. I'm not, these questions don't have to be 100% rhetorical while I'm streaming live. Like, you know, what do you do, on your vacation? Because there's so many vacations that actually encourage you to do things that are not good for your health. Isn't that something? They encourage you to do things that are not for your betterment, things that you will have to recover from upon getting back home. Isn't that? When you think about it, when you take a break, when you invest your money in doing something, you know, are you investing that money wisely in you? In you. How strange that is it feel when when we say, like, investing in yourself, investing in ourselves, like we will actually go into debt for like an education, go into debt for it, and that's something like take out a loan to get that education in hopes of getting that job, hello, back to you. No, but is it is it really your best investment to do something that eventually is going to actually be a stressor for you and a huge problem, something that can really cut into your health span? And I really am trying to make sure that I focus more on health span versus lifespan. Health span. Do you know the difference? No, between health span and lifespan. So, when people talk about like how old they are, the what we really need to think about is how long have we been healthy? Because there are so many ways and so many medicines and machines now that will keep you alive, but are you living? We want to focus on how do we add more life to our years? How do we add more life to our years? Like, I feel like, as an investment advisor, and I want to share here, I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group. a registered investment advisory firm that I started in 1995. And so being that I started the firm such a long time ago, I think that's why health has become such a huge deal for me and such a big part of encouraging you all. And Mr. Harris is a good example. Thank you, for smiling. And you should be smiling about your good health. Good day right back at you, Miss Kit. Good to KC. Good to see you. Yes. You know, that he's smiling because of the great habits that he has. Yes, Tracy, that more quality living. No, so I talk to my clients about health span and doing things that are good for them. And a lot of times when we're talking, they're probably like, wondering why JV gives me all these health tips. Why does she do that? Why does she do that? Because I want them to be making their own financial decisions as long as possible. So, for my own selfish reasons, I want them to be healthy because your physical health will impact your mental health. And then the mental health goes wrong, and we literally have huge problems. And you're no longer able to manage your own finances, your own life. So when I encourage you that this is what I want to do, and I have not had a party that serve things that are not going to be healthy for us. When we get together, I think about I'm not going to give you anything that I don't want for myself. No, because that's where the investment should be. We don't have to have it in when we get together, it doesn't have to be, somewhere that I'll have to go cheap on your nutrition and cheap on your substance and your truth, cheap on the quality of your experience. We focus a lot on the superficial when what really is important is the substance, the inside of us. But I was sharing with a client this morning that I didn't know that LabCorp, you actually can do your own lab work by demand now. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but I've been paying about 4 times as much to get a medical office to pay for lab work because a lot of times they won't let you do lab work when you're healthy. But we need to have the lab work and health standards and know where you are so that as a female and a male, and you're getting older and you try to figure out like what is happening but you don't have any numbers. We need numbers, and maybe I like lab work because I'm into numbers, but I don't want anybody's opinion. Think about how much we go to the doctor's office. You're going in there, taking all this time to go. Then they draw your blood. They get a dog. It's a ting on your little health insurance. You went and did a doctor visit, but they can't give you any feedback because they don't have your lab work. But as far as our time and our money is our time. Time is money. We'd be better off doing the lab work before coming in there with the lab work and saying, bam, here's the lab work. Send it to them in advance. Because if you bring it in there, you might say, well, I didn't have time to look at it. And no way I'm going to look at it now because I just can't look. You never know. They might not even be the one that analyzes it. They might not even know what the numbers mean. You don't even know what you're dealing with. So when you get the information, we have to make sure. I was just telling in a morning meeting, I was like, we need to get our lab work and you break it down piece by piece. What is ADD? What is BBB? C key? What is it? What is it? What is normal? Normal might not be so normal for you. We need to take charge. Our biggest, best investment is to use some of our money to take care of our health and get the information that we need. Going to get a scan does not prevent anything. If anything, you're getting the scan and it has so much radiation in it that it could be causing the problem. So we need to be conscious of nothing comes on overnight. We have to have a history of bad habits, bad decisions, poor decisions, as I was saying this morning to someone that wanted a free consultation. And I'm happy to offer that. And he was saying that, that he was telling me all of these decisions that he had made, really bad, poor financial decisions. I said, I wish I had met you before you decided to allow this service over here to rob you and ruin your credit. And he said, well, it really doesn't even matter. Doesn't really even matter. I'm so old now. My credit don't matter. And then I'm thinking to myself, and then I said it out loud. At every point in our life, your credit does matter because they use that to even monitor how much they charge you for car insurance. They're getting you. Your homeowner's insurance. They're getting you. So, because they see it so credit matters. So we got to avoid doing these things because people with poor credit are, according to the research, more likely to have a high BMI, meaning, and if you use a BMI as a measure of the person is most likely overweight, unhealthy, carrying too much. So that person is also more likely with the bad credit, more likely to have the stress. The stress leads to chronic diseases. To having it. But it's because they bought things they could not afford, lived way beyond their means for a long time. The stress hits, bad decisions. You can't sit down. You can't do anything but sit there. You can't do anything but work. And a lot of people get through work just by doing things that aren't good for them, sitting at their desk eating, skipping the lunch walk, skipping the morning walk, skipping the evening walk. I thought, to myself, but I mean, I not even I realized how I got starting my business so early probably was a really great idea because a lot of people get to this point in their life and then they say they want to start a business and they have no idea, Queen Howard, how much of you it takes in order to be a successful entrepreneur. And what is the likelihood of anybody ever allowing you to actually talk to a successful entrepreneur? You don't get to talk to me. Like I was telling my daughter, I was like, it's not like I'm the type of person that's recognized that's been in business over 30 years. That's not the type of person that gets recognized. They're always only looking at you want to look at award winners and things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be people who only been in business a couple years, one or two. They're beautiful. They're lovely. You know, people don't want to hear, I guess, the real story. So, those of you who are watching this discussion, you are the cream of the crop, the top, the ones that want to know the truth about how we got to take care of ourselves. Because if you don't, anybody can start, but not everybody can finish. Not everybody can go all the way through. Not everybody can care enough to tell someone else to be your best self. Like I told that brother today, like, don't think and don't make excuses because you think that you in your 70s and that means that you don't have to make wise financial decisions. That's wrong. That's wrong. We live in a society that we can do what we have to do to increase our health span. And we increase our health span. Lord knows you don't want to be here broke. You don't want to be here broke. And what can make you broke? If the person already doesn't have any money and then they get sick, it makes it even harder for them to develop wealth, because what will really truly eat at your return? You don't have to worry about the economy and politics and all of that if you have to no longer be capable of working, but you still need to work. But you made some decisions that weren't in your best interest, so you can't work anymore. So your income is limited. So then you have to go from accumulation stage to withdrawal stage. And I'll often tell when I'm going into Whole Foods and getting healthy food, and the bill will be high to the cashier, and I'll say, this is the key to my retirement plan. Me eating right. Me eating right. Me getting my sleep. Me avoiding any toxins coming in me focusing on organic food. And the toxins have to include unhealthy friendships, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy, there are some people who you can't work with. I had to learn how to make better decisions on that, because I would think that I always thought like I can help everybody. No, you cannot help everyone, because everyone doesn't even want your help, Jay. They don't want healthy minded people around. You got to notice that. If you look around and you see all your friends are sick in the head, that's got to tell you something about yourself. That's got to tell you something about yourself. Like, you're making a bad choice because that stuff seeps into your energy and it kills you slowly over time. It kills you. When I see stuff on social media, and I know that that person is toxic, there's no choice, there's no help for them. Don't talk to them. All that'll do is affect your ability to breathe, which elevate your blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure over long periods of time will weaken your heart, kill you. It's not even worth it, is it, Miss Kid? No, we have to focus. So let's look at some top reasons why we have to think of our health as our greatest investment, our number one investment. Because being healthy will enhance your living, your entire well-being, your entire ability to be healthy. You If you commit to being healthy, being your best self, repairing. I mean, I'm even talking to the person who might think of themselves as sick now. I believe that we need to move away from labeling ourselves when we know for a fact things can change. Like, sickness is not a permanent state. It doesn't have to be. And that might sound outlandish to some people, because they might say, well, I'm just, way too sick. I'm too sick to be, and I'm not even going to go into it, but I'm just going to say that I can say that because I can say that. Miracles happen every day. The fact that I'm still alive is purely from a commitment to God's grace, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that good health is God's will for us, that God wants us to be healthy. It's to be committed to good health like you're committed to me. Why? We think that we have the right to say that we have faith in God and still do things to yourself that's destructive. It's nonsensical. I was saying in the members only I was in a dinner the other day, and I said, as I was leaving, I said, because it was like, a couple and one other person. And I said, oh, wow, we have to all do this again. And then the one single person, other than myself, he said, no, you don't drink enough to be with us. You don't drink. You can't hang with us. And I laughed it off, but I know he meant it. What a blessing. What a blessing for God to allow that person to say so much truth out of their mouth. When someone tells you the truth, you better believe it. No, I know the other people were probably shocked, but they may have been thinking the same thing. She ain't no fun. She don't even like to get drunk. She wouldn't even drink. She's sitting over there being halfway healthy. In my opinion, the fact that I eat somewhere other than my house is not a healthy choice. Because I don't know what they put in that food before they brought it to the table. Every time, Queen, I go out my house to eat, I know I'm putting myself at risk. I thank God for having built my self-esteem up that much, because I know that I used to go to restaurants expensive restaurants, like it was a McDonald's drive-through window. Like I just had to go out to eat. And then I put myself in nutrition. I went to a nutritionist, and I saw this lady was in California. By the grace of God, someone told me about her. We talked every week to the point where she fired me. She was like, JB, you telling me now, Jay, but the challenge is sticking to it, So I talk to a nutritionist still now every 2 weeks, because I like the accountability, and I do the body composition machine because I don't want to just be thinking about the number on the scale. I want to make sure that my body fat is right, that my muscle mass is right, that my bone density is right. So you get the machines that you need, or you get access, and you assess yourself and you make sure, because the fact that you might weigh less than you did when you graduated from high school does not mean that you're in a healthy state. Because you could be even skinny, you could be skinny fat, and that is a dangerous place for us to be as we age. So a lot of these meds that people are taking, but they're not exercising enough in order to hold on to their muscle mass, it can be extremely dangerous, though it does work. Thank you. It becomes extremely dangerous for us to just not know what we're made up of, and invest in yourself. Invest in, as the man was saying, entertainment. Thank you. But our skin is everything. Our skin is very important. I know this morning when I went to the gym, I had castor oil all over my face. And I believe it. Someone said that castor oil is better than, and I don't ingest it, I just put it all in my skin. And they said castor oil is better than Botox. The key is you got to use it. You got to do something no, but instead people will do something trying to get something quick and easy when they won't think about, let's focus on doing something that's healthy, doing something that God has made. There are actually ingredients. The ingredients of castor oil will actually break down. Like people will say, well, I can't do castor oil because that's oily and I got a pimple on my face. No, the point, the castor oil will break down what is in that pimple. That what is in that pimple is an infection in your face. And I see so many the dermatologists now, they are not telling these young people. I remember going to the cosmetic to Ulta with my daughter, and the lady at the cosmetic counter was saying, get this and this and this. They had a whole teen set and all this and that. I said, well, in reality, this is all fun and good and it's great for, clean her face. But in reality, her skin looks good because of what she's putting in the inside of her. And the lady at the store looked at me and said, well, damn, somebody knows the truth. She said, you are so right about that. No. And we put on the makeup, we try to smear it over, but sometimes people's blood sugar is messed up, and the skin is a reflection of the blood sugar. And the blood sugar over a long period of time, Mr. Smith will tell you that this is true. If you have elevated blood sugar over a long period of time, it will lead to the Alzheimer's and the dementia. So when they say that Black folk are more likely to have Alzheimer's and dementia, it's a lie. We are more likely to have the elevated blood sugar that's not monitored correctly. We're not taking care of our blood sugar. We're not even if the fact that the A1C levels might not be low enough for us. So they might say, well, 6.0 is where there's a problem. Well, for our community, maybe 4.0 needs to be where we are trying to stay. That's so great, Wayne Howard. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get our own levels of what is healthy for us. What is healthy for us? Stop going by guidelines for people that are not your guidelines. We have to say, that's based on what? That's based on what? Because I know that I've made a commitment, because both of my parents eventually were type 2 diabetics. I've made a commitment in my 20s to not get there. In my 20s, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Dear God, give me strength. Those are things that we can control. And I saw it. I saw my father change his diet, change everything, and they took him off the meds. And I saw it. I saw them go back to the same habits. You know how hard it is to stay at a good habit? That don't even make sense. But Mr. Smith, do you realize how hard it is for people to do like you and get up and go to that gym like that? To be your age with that muscle, that fitness level, do you know? You don't even know, because it's a part of you now. It's a part of you now. I can miss too many days at the gym, and it's going to cause me to be depressed because it is part of my blood. It is part of my blood. It will keep us less stressed out. We have to keep moving. And the fact that there's research now that shows that me just working out in the morning is just not enough. There's not a link between a person who just works out in the morning, between longevity and someone that just works out in the morning. It's nice, it's healthy. This, good. It might increase your quality of life, keep you from hurting somebody or something, But when you look at trying to increase your health span, the overall active person getting that workout in, but also moving their body for the rest of the day, that is the person. That is the person who has the health span. That's the health span. So what becomes hard for me is after I go and then come back. Okay, I'm at the gym and did it, all right. But coming back and having to sit for the rest of the day, that will kill you. The sitting. Like this one little slim lady said to me one time that she happened to like have her own health spa and everything, and she was a doctor, and she said, those 10,000 steps, They don't have nothing to do with what we do at the gym. As we went to the same, she was like, I don't have nothing to do with that. I said, girl, don't even tell me. Don't even start telling me. I know, I know, I know. I mean, and the fact that she was so adamant and determined, but one day she was just riding down the street, somebody ran her off the road. I saw that woman with a full body cast, a full body cast, still in the gym, Mr. Smith. Queen Bro. She was in the gym with the body cast on, still trying to move. Still trying to move. And I'll tell her today, and I tell her every time I see her, that's the kind of guts that keep me going. That's what keeps me going. How do you stay in business? You know, for 30 years, how do you stay in business? From that type of keep going. I was continuously. We all get hit. But if you're not strong enough mentally and physically to take the hit, you ain't going to survive. You ain't going to survive. Where does that perseverance come from? It's mental and it's physical too. It is physical too. They've done research that shows that resistance exercise is extremely helpful for entrepreneurs. Why? Because we're facing resistance all the time. I am so into resistance now that I seek it out. That I seek it out. Because if not, you know what I mean? Actually, if you stop, you will actually, people, I'm telling you, people will have extreme pain from trying to lift up something because they have not become accustomed to that. And I was thinking, I was looking at this brother that did Zuri. I think he has his slogan is like Zuri Mania, but Zuri Johnson. And he did a powerlifting competition over the weekend. And he won for his age group. I don't know what his age group is, but he's a lot younger than me. And he did 625 pounds something. I said, dang, woo, that's a lot. My deadlift is 330. I can do, if I really, really wanted to like get it loose, I probably, but now I'm doing track season, but I'm definitely going to do powerlifting this summer in the what is called the senior games. But that right now we consider 330 or 330 and above, like it's right around there, between 330 and 340. But I thought to myself, well, first of all, I'm a female and I got about 20 years on him, at least. I'm closer to his mother's age than I'm to his. So that's not that bad, Jay. And when I yank at that weight, it helps my mind. And there's something about it though. Like if you get a weight, you yank a weight, and you can't lift the weight. Like you can't get it. That will hurt you more. I mean, I'm talking about physically and mentally. Like it will hurt you more. But I remember when I first was like, I wanted to get over 300 because I was like, I mean, I can do this. Like, that and I yanked it and I just stood there. And then I discovered that is actually can be an exercise. I'm so into resistance because resistance is a way of life. You make a commitment to your health, you are going to get a resistance. You say, I'm going to start a business, you're going to get resistance. You say you want to have a happy marriage, you are going to get resistance. It'll be in it or it'll be outside of it. It is not going to be easy. Jesus' time on this earth was not easy. So resistance is something that is going to have to become a part of our life for the rest of our life. You can say, well, she ain't gonna be doing that in a couple more years, but I'm older than you think I am already. So no, maybe not. But the only reason I won't be is because I will have evolved to a sprinter more than doing the powerlifting. Because I don't know which one of them is going to win, but I want to sprint more and be faster more than I want to continue to do that because I love being outside. Being outside is great, but I still have to be strong. My powerlifting will still have to be on. I will still face resistance. I have spent a lot of time in the back. In the back, I have sprinted and been the last, and I could have just said, "Well, let me just stick over here with this powerlifting." But God said, "No, I want you humble. I want you to face it. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can't win unless you can lose. I got to be able to lose in order to win." So you might think, I gotta do this. I gotta, do this, but I can't do it. I can't. If I did this, like I know for a fact I'd be faster if I lost some weight. So my goal is 20 more pounds, 20 more pounds. And it's not easy. It is not easy because we don't want what? There's going to be resistance because that's what I want. That's what I need. You know what I'm saying? But for every pound you lose, there is going to be some speed that's added if you are trying to move faster, if you are trying to move better. Plus, I want my blood pressure to be great. I am not going into that statistic where all Black people have high blood pressure, but I'm going to tell you, when you look at the numbers, it is almost devastating. I mean, it is like the majority of us after 40 are inactive and have high blood pressure. There's something there. There's something there. And I'm not going to do anything like to set myself up. No, like it's so easy to be not healthy. It's just so easy to not be healthy. But we are some beautiful people. I was looking at this video with Lee Haney. Lee Haney used to be a bodybuilder, but he's not. But he is a great example of a bodybuilder that evolved into a healthy grown man. He's got to be near 70. Still the same wife, still same kids, loves the Lord. How many times do we see Lee Haney celebrated? Isn't that something? But I want y'all to look him up. Look at that Black man. Older, healthy. He's doing it. Key decisions that he made, though. Because going through a divorce can be one of the most stressful, experiences that you ever have. I know it has been for me. According to research, people that are divorced are more likely to have a heart attack, or people that have a heart attack are more likely to have experienced a divorce. Heartbreak is real. So you going through a divorce or a job change or something, and then with men, it's the job change or job insecurity. It can break their heart. They literally have done studies to show a physical damage to a person's heart from divorce, from death, from job loss. So what we have to do is to strengthen ourselves. Full armor. Strengthen ourselves with a greater relationship with God. Strengthen ourselves with a greater physical presence. And my dad used to tell me, don't matter what you look like, keep yourself healthy. Don't be worried about what you look like. Keep yourself healthy. Don't be worried about what you look like. Keep yourself healthy. Isn't that something? And then one time he told me, I don't understand why you still so big and you go to the gym all the time. I should have said, Dad, didn't you tell me don't worry about what you look like? Keep yourself healthy. With this, look, out of the mouth of dads. When he was like, what you do? I said, Dad, like, Dad, I'm under a lot of stress. He said, just keep yourself healthy. But You got to get to know yourself. And I'm telling you, if I respond to stress with like I don't drink and I don't smoke, but do you know food can do just as much damage as those things can do? So look, I can eat as much as a person be like an alcoholic. And you, so you're eating carbohydrates, those carbohydrates turn to sugar, impact your liver, can cause that non-fatty non-alcoholic fatty liver. That is real. That is real, y'all. We gotta keep a tune of that. Like, so no matter how much we go to the gym, we have to be very careful. Like now, I try to go like to when I work out, like just fasted. My body actually does really well in a fasted state, like physically, as far as physically, like my body loves it. That doesn't mean like my mental loves it, but my physically, my body loves it. I can perform well. I don't know if that's true with y'all, but like, going into the gym, like in a fasted state, like when I was like, seriously, just like approaching competition for powerlifting, I would definitely not go into the gym in a fasted state, because it's about like building muscle, building muscle. But I have discovered that even with now doing more going in a fasted state, because of my body composition machine, I have noticed even with cutting this fat, so I brought my body fat down dramatically. I have maintained my muscle, even grown some. Yes. So but if we don't know what we're dealing with, like you have to get into the whole body composition and doing your blood work and looking at how you respond to different things. But for most people walking this planet, carb loading, processed food, horrible for us. Horrible for us. I don't want a processed food in my body. But when I start stressing out, or I feel like things aren't going right for me in some situation, or if I haven't slept well, I will make bad decisions, and you want to avoid that. No, I don't think that I was sleeping well for like at least 20 years. That's but I did see a study that said, because I always wondered, like, how am I still here with that little bit of sleep? But it said that resistance training and high performers, like really heavy lifters, actually do well on less sleep and will survive. And that's something. So thank God that I was doing what I was doing. Because if I've been focusing on cardio, I might have died. But we need that rest. But now it's like I want that rest. So I'm doing everything I can, getting my room all pretty and everything. Try to make sure I listen to the right stuff. I got those like glasses so that the orange glasses, so that even if I look at my phone, I'm not looking at it. You know, um, I'm calming myself down. I think they do. I think it does work. Like, but it like just getting things that are about me. I'm doing like a red light therapy. Just things that are healing for me, because I really feel that I need that balance. But I encourage you to know that that is our best investment. There's no way I would be able, if I was not like this about my health, y'all know, there's no way I would be able to say, oh, 30 years. If I had just, I'm just going to eat my way through this, you know? But what we really need to realize that, a vice is a vice. If it's alcohol and it's too much, it's a vice. I believe that we don't need any of it. It's a vice. But I do believe that we need some ice cream. That's a vice. I'm gonna get past, I'm gonna get over that. But there's a lot less ice cream that I ingest now. I mean, I used to keep ice cream in my house. No, look, right? Patel, like we have to know ourselves and don't self-sabotage. Take care of you, be cat passionate with you, but know that if something happens to you and you have a heart attack, this is what trips me out. Every time my client has a heart attack, the next thing they do is put them in physical therapy and start them lifting. Girl, I ain't doing no homemade, but I know that you that sound just like a nutritionist. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, no, but I know what you said. At least I think I saw you making online some homemade ice cream or something like that. Like that. I know. Won't even bring it in. Don't even want to discover how I could do that. But that if I said if I made a rule like the only ice cream I would eat is homemade, it would definitely make sure I didn't have any. Right? Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, I know because I know I'm not gonna do it. And if I did it, then I'd be like, this is not the ice cream that I want. Like, so you're right. You're right. Right. And no, and no sugar added too. Like, you know what? Right? But I love stevia so much, organic stevia. Be careful with our sugar replacements too. Like, processed food is processed food. If we avoid processed food, if we avoid processed food, we will keep so much money in our pocket. If we avoid processed food, we will keep so much money in our pocket. If we avoided the restaurants, we will keep so much money in our pocket. No, we can do this. So, some reasons that health is very important for longevity, but more important than longevity is for our health span. Our health span. We want to be healthy most of the years of our life. Let's say all. I say, well, if you go to pass, I would like we just die, and that is possible. You just die. It's just your body is just done. That's what we want, not the chronic disease dominating all of your senior years. We don't want it. The health span went from 65 to now. Pull this up. It said the health span was at 65 before 2021. Now the health span is down to like 63 and a half years old. Let's see that. And like, so that means that people are not healthy as long as they used to be. The being committing to our health will give us more emotional stability, right? It'll give us more financial stability, seriously, because you won't be taking those withdrawals to cover the non-deductibles and everything that. It won't be cutting into your earnings potential because of a health issue. It won't, you'll feel more financially secure, right? Healthy choices will give us mental well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being, spiritual well-being. It is God's will. I also want to be a good example for young women and women my age. I want to be a good example for men. I want to be an example for men my age. I want to be an example like that we can have a business, we can be an entrepreneur, and you can be healthy and you can take care of yourself. In order to do that, I had to restructure my life away from materialism, and I had to focus more on healthy choices. And I literally did. Like with my training and everything that I do, I invest about, I'm sure, more than most people spend on their luxury car. And I wouldn't change a thing about it because I know that that's why I'm still here. I know that the reason I'm still here is because I reached for help. I reached for help, and I thank God for the humility and the ability to go out there and get it. I'm like, I'm working and I work and you work and you work and you work, but then you don't want to buy yourself the best food. Get yourself the best food. When you work and you work and you work, and you don't want to get yourself some assistance, some help, the physical training that you need, the mental training that you need, the spiritual support that you need. Get yourself the help that you need. Build your team with the resources that God gave you. Don't be fearful that if I do this, then maybe I won't have that, because I'm telling you, health down the road, if you go to the hospital right now and you talk to them, and the people will tell you about things that they want that money cannot buy. Enough said. God bless y'all. I love y'all. I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of Afro Economics. Black Health, Blackwealth.com. Black Health, Blackwealth.com. The 10th principle of Afro Economics is Black Health. Let's do it.